When I was a kid, I had a rule about my closet. It had to be all the way shut before I could go to sleep. And I mean, it could not be open a crack. I needed to hear the latch click. My mom thought at the time that it was just a phase. And she had been telling me that I was too old to be imagining things like this and monsters in my closet. I never told her the real reason behind this rule for the closet because it was even more ridiculous. The reason was a reoccurring dream that I had been having since I was 5 years old. It was the same dream, it was the same setting, but it was always different. It was less like a dream and more like it was a place that I was going. It was this room that was baby blue, and it was like on the top story of a house, except the whole room was slanted downwards away from the door. So the entire time I'm in these dreams, I'm hanging out in the doorway, because if I go a little bit further into the center of the room, I would like slide down and not be able to get back up. The floor of the room was covered in toys. Only the thing that I struggle to tell people, honestly, is that a lot of these toys, like, hadn't been invented yet. They weren't toys yet. One of them in specific was a, like, Chippendales Rescue Rangers video game. The little handheld 8-bit video games that didn't have any color on them. I had played with this in my dream, and then years later, one of my cousins got one for Christmas, and I actually held it in my hand and played it, and it was the exact same thing. I do not know how to explain that. About 3 feet to the right of the doorway in this room was like a closet with a sliding door. I knew, the way that you know things in dreams, that the door to the closet had to stay shut and I had to stay away from it. I knew that whatever was in the closet was bad. I knew that there was a man in it, and that if I got close enough to the closet, he would come out and he would take me. I had that dream maybe 5 or 6 times over a year or two. And each time, I got a little bit braver, and I would get a little bit further from the doorway and a little bit closer to the closet. The last time that I had the dream, I got all the way to the closet, and as I had predicted, a man came out of there, or at least I call it a man, and he grabbed me. I woke up as soon as he pulled me into the closet, and I haven't had the dream since. And I was glad. I thought that it was over. The thing is, it was around that time that I had started feeling the same way about my real bedroom that I had felt about the closet in the dream room. I knew that there was something bad in there. Which brings me to the night that my dad left the closet door open. Wardrobe change. Welcome, or welcome back. I'm Gringo Furioso. I am a storyteller. I used to be a crime scene cleaner, used to be a convict, I used to be an addict, I used to be a whole lot of things. Right now, though, I'm a YouTuber and storyteller, content creator guy. This is a story that I wrote recently. It is based on a true story and has many fictional elements, but to say that it's 100% true would be false, and I would hate to ever lie to any of you. Who would go on the internet and tell lies? Am I right? Who would do that? Nobody would do that. If this is the type of thing that you're into, if you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, hit the bell so you get notifications when I go live. That's about it. That's all I've got for you. Enjoy the story. Love you. My dad left the closet door open. He came in, did the whole good night routine, kissed my head, tucked me in, turned the light out on his way out of the room, but he forgot the closet. It was wide open. There was just a rectangle of black where the closet was. I laid there telling myself, swearing to myself that I would get up and close it. I would count to 10 and then start over. The hallway light clicked off, and my parents went to bed. And the house got that weird type of quiet that only happens after midnight. And at that point, I was still counting to 10, trying to get the courage to get up and get out of my bed and close the door. But it felt eerily similar to all those times that I tried to get closer to the door in the dream. The closet shifted. It was the sound that the floor makes when somebody's been standing in the same place for a while and they shift their weight to one leg from the other. And then something leaned around the door. I'd love to tell you that it had claws or teeth. What I remember is how thin it was, how its head was too big for its neck, or how it was smiling. Except it wasn't a smile, it was just that the skin had pulled back so far that that's the shape that its face was making. It looked directly at me. It looked into me. And I could not move. I was completely frozen in panic or fear. I could hardly think. The silence that had just been in the house was now the sound of my own blood rushing through my ears. I could hear and feel my heartbeat in my face. And then somewhere in the house, our phone made a sound. We had one of those old landline phones that connects to like an answering machine. And if you left the phone off the hook for too long, this voice would come on. And some of you may remember it. It had this flat, dead voice. And it would say, "The following is a tone for the hearing impaired." And then this long tone, this long beep. Except nobody was on the phone. It was on the hook. I'd watched my mom hang it up before bed. "The following is a tone for the hearing impaired." The thing in the closet tilted its head when the voice played, almost like it was listening to it. And then the beep started, and under that long, flat tone were the sounds of whatever it was creeping back into the closet. It just ducked back in as soon as the beep started playing. I stayed awake as long as I could. I wanted to stay awake until I could see the sun come up and shine into the closet, but somewhere around 3:30, 4 a.m., I fell asleep. When my mom woke me up, the closet door was closed. I figured she had closed it, and I went to school like any other normal day. About halfway through the day, my teacher gets a call and tells me that I need to go down to the principal's office. I think I'm in trouble, and I'm trying to rack my brain for what I could have done. And when I get to the office, my mom is there, and her face is red and puffy like she had been crying for hours and hours. The second that she saw me, she crossed the room and grabbed me up in probably the tightest hug she's ever given me. It's so tight that it honestly started to hurt. She had something in her hand, but I couldn't really make it out. When she finally let go, her and the principal were looking at me with this sort of careful, scared expression, and my mom asked me in a soft, shaky voice, "Did you let anybody into the house last night?" Still thinking that I'm in trouble and not really understanding why she's asking me, I just kind of stare at her. Because I'm thinking about the guy in the closet, the thing in the closet. Seemingly reading my mind, she said, "You're not in trouble, sweetie. We just need to know if anybody was in the house with us last night." Still kind of scared, I said, "No, nobody came through the front door." She got really still, and she asked me what I meant, why I had said it that way. For the first time, I told her about the closet. I told her about the dream. I told her about all of it. I told her about the man in the sliding door closet and how when he grabbed me, the dream stopped, but then the closet things started in real life. And when I got to the part about the phone, it was like all the color drained from her face. And when I said that I had tried to stay up till sunrise but fell asleep shortly before, she dropped the thing that was in her hand, and it was a Polaroid. On it was a picture of me asleep in my bed, the same bed that I had left that morning, and I was smiling. Only it wasn't a smile. It was just the shape my face was making because the skin was being pulled back so tight. It was a shape a face makes when it's not really a face anymore. My mom had found the Polaroid that morning on the kitchen counter right next to the phone.